From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Zahra Syed. Our top story tonight. Renowned Harry Potter actor Miriam Margolyes is urging fellow Jews around the world to shout, beg, and scream for a ceasefire in Gaza. In a video released by the Jewish Council of Australia, the 82-year-old expressed deep shame over Israel's actions. She compared its war on Gaza, which has killed over 30,000 Palestinians, mostly civilians, to Hitler's actions. In the video, she said, "To me, it seems as if Hitler has won. He's changed us Jews from being compassionate and caring and do unto others as you would have them do unto you, into this vicious, genocidal nationalist nation, pursuing and killing women and children." The British-Australian actress and activist is best known for starring as Professor Sprout in the Harry Potter film franchise. Margolyes joins a growing chorus of Jewish figures advocating for an end to the war, including filmmaker Jonathan Glazer, who made a statement in his March 10th Oscar Awards acceptance speech. In the video, Margolyes continues imploring Jewish communities to unite in stopping the bloodshed and securing the release of prisoners held by Hamas. USAID Administrator Samantha Powers on Wednesday acknowledged in a congressional testimony the dire situation of famine in Gaza, confirming earlier assessments. She said malnutrition rates, previously minimal, have skyrocketed to 1 in 3 children in northern Gaza. Power emphasized the gravity of the humanitarian crisis, noting that nearly the entire population is at risk of famine. The admission comes amidst criticism over the U.S. support for Israel's war on Gaza, including a relentless bombing campaign and the suffocating siege of the territory. Analysts say Powers' confirmation of the famine's reality underscores the urgency of the situation and the need for immediate action to alleviate suffering. Israel killed at least 25 Palestinian civilians and injured many in Gaza on the day of the Eid al-Fitr holiday on Wednesday. Israeli warplanes carried out intense airstrikes, lasting over 3 hours, targeting towers and residential buildings in the Al-Zahra locality where people were celebrating Eid. The intense air raids also hit a school serving as a shelter for displaced people and a house belonging to the Tabatibi family. Israeli airstrikes in Gaza have also killed dozens of Palestinians in the past 24 hours, with casualties reported in the Nusayrat refugee camp, Gaza City, and Rafah. 3 Palestinian journalists were amongst the injured in the Nusayrat refugee camp, along with at least 7 people who have been brought to the camp's Al-Awda hospital since Friday morning. Destruction in Khan Yunis and damage to the medical sector have been described as unimaginable by the World Health Organization. Additionally, a raid in the Tubas governorate in the West Bank killed at least 2 Palestinians. The UK-based newspaper The Telegraph revealed in a report that Israeli military officer Noki Mendel, who was responsible for an attack on foreign aid workers, had previously advocated for a complete blockade on aid entering into Gaza. Mendel, along with 129 other officers, signed an open letter in January, urging the Israeli government to cut off all aid to Gaza. At least 33,634 Palestinians have been killed, and 76,214 others injured in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. The death toll in Israel from Hamas's October 7th attacks stands at 1,139, with dozens of people still held prisoners. President Joe Biden says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has not done enough to ensure that humanitarian aid is entering Gaza. Biden listed the pledges the Israeli leader made to him. These include bolstering the amount of aid entering Gaza and significantly reducing civilian casualties in Gaza. Addressing a news conference alongside Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, Biden said he had been very blunt, straightforward with Netanyahu as well as his war cabinet. The White House says Tel Aviv had committed to opening Gaza up for aid deliveries following a telephone call last Thursday between Netanyahu and Biden. Biden had also warned Netanyahu in the discussion that future U.S. support for Israel's war on Gaza depends on the Israeli government instituting major reforms to the war effort. Palestinians in Gaza solemnly observed Eid al-Fitr amidst the destruction caused by Israel's ongoing war. Its residents struggled to find joy amid famine, airstrikes, the death of over 30,000 since October, and blockades. Marking the festival in destroyed mosques and homes, observers say Palestinians showed steadfastness despite their grief. Al Jazeera's reporters witnessed people performing Eid prayers in Rafah even as Israeli military drones were buzzing overhead, causing fear and insecurity. Despite hardships, efforts to bring happiness to children persist, with volunteers organizing events amidst the conflict. Children and their families who participated in the event shared poignant stories of past holidays before the onset of the war, contrasting them with the challenging circumstances they currently face. As the crescent moon ushers in the end of Ramadan, over 2 billion Muslims worldwide celebrate Eid al-Fitr, each region imbued with its unique cultural tapestry. Turkic nations call it Bayram, while Indonesians celebrate as Lebaran. In Istanbul, believers gathered at the world-famous Hagia Sophia Mosque to offer prayers. Uzbekistan embraces a culinary delight with traditional dishes like palav, and fostering familial bonds through customs like Kelen Salam, where children visit newlywed brides. Eid al-Fitr resonates globally, weaving a rich tapestry of cultural heritage and communal spirit. In Indonesia, the foremost tradition is mudik, or homecoming, where those who leave their hometowns to work in the big cities travel back to their places to spend Eid with their families. In Nigeria, the Hawan Danushe horseback procession is a centuries-old tradition, symbolizing strength and heritage. In the African country, Eid also involves seeking forgiveness from everyone, including friends, colleagues, neighborhoods, and relatives. Speaking to Turkish news agency Anadolu, Dujiman Bauchi Bashir Yakubu Lama, one of the regional chiefs, explained the significance of horse riding in the tradition. He said the horse symbolizes your strength, and the number of horses one owns indicates the strength of an individual. From Senegal to Sweden, Argentina to Ukraine, believers gathered in mosques and prayer grounds, donning traditional white attire to signify purity and renewal. In Senegal's Yoff city, worshippers performed the Eid al-Fitr prayer, clad in all-white garments, symbolizing spiritual cleansing and unity. In India, the iconic Taj Mahal in Agra served as a backdrop for prayers, underscoring the diversity of global celebrations. From Antananarivo, Madagascar, to Buenos Aires, Argentina, and even as far as Dublin, Ireland, Muslim communities united in prayer and celebration. In Rome, Italy, believers gathered at the Mosque of Rome, reflecting on the significance of Eid as a time for gratitude and unity. In Ukraine's lean city, Muslims came together for prayers. Even in Sweden's capital, Stockholm, Muslims observed Eid al-Fitr with reverence and joy, culminating in visits to grave sites to pay respects to departed loved ones. As believers worldwide celebrate Eid al-Fitr for 3 days, the message of unity, gratitude, and renewal resonates across cultures and borders, reaffirming the bonds of faith and community. Muslims in the U.S. comprise a diverse ethnic and racial minority, but unite for prayers and Eid celebrations. Dressed in colorful attire, families exchange greetings and prayers in mosques and community centers, reflecting the nation's growing Islamic presence. These gatherings showcase the rich cultural tapestry of American Muslims, from African American attire to South Asian henna patterns. Hundreds of Muslims gathered at Skate Station Funworks in Gainesville, Florida, to celebrate Eid al-Fitr. Organized by the Islamic Community Center of Gainesville Board and the Hoda Center, the event aimed to foster unity and love within the community, especially during Israel's war on Palestine. The event emphasized the resilience of the Muslim community, with one attendee noting the increased turnout compared to previous celebrations. With nearly 3,000 mosques nationwide, Islam is the fastest-growing religion in the United States. Eid festivities include sharing meals with loved ones and breaking the fast after a month of abstaining. Thousands of Muslims gathered in Sacramento and other places in California to offer Eid prayers. Muslims came in colorful attire to Menlo Park City, representing different areas of the world. The worshippers arranged in neat rows and bowed in prayer in unison. Participants exchanged embraces at the conclusion of the prayers. Across the United States, Muslims shared authentic cuisines from their home countries, reflecting the cultural richness of the Muslim community. Children enjoyed activities like skating and arcade games, while families relished the opportunity to reconnect with loved ones. Eid in the United States highlights the country's multicultural fabric, showcasing various traditions and customs within the Muslim community. The festivities encapsulated the spirit of joy, resilience, and togetherness, resonating with the vibrant mosaic of American Islam. Attacks target American Muslim sites during Eid celebrations. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Muslim sites at various places in the United States witnessed attacks as community members marked the Eid al-Fitr holiday to mark the end of Ramadan. In Philadelphia, gunfire erupted, injuring 3 individuals at a gathering of around 1,000 people celebrating Eid. Police said 30 shots were fired and 4 guns were recovered from the scene. They have taken 5 suspects into custody. Pennsylvania's District 6 Representative Chrissy Houlihan expressed heartbreak over the incident, emphasizing ongoing monitoring and support for responders. In New Jersey, Rutgers University's Center for Islamic Life faced vandalism, with extensive damage to artwork and destruction of a Palestinian flag during Eid celebrations. Concerns have arisen over rising Islamophobia and security lapses, prompting calls for action from the Muslim community and condemnation from Governor Phil Murphy. President of the Muslim Public Relations Council, Nora Uskar, says the Rutgers administration's failure to take action against such acts has led to further hateful incidents against Muslims and Palestinian students on campus. In San Francisco, Masjid al-Tawheed Mosque suffered vandalism and harassment, with an individual smashing windows and threatening congregants on the last day of Ramadan on Tuesday. Despite police notification and search efforts, the suspect remains at large, raising security concerns during the holy month. Hala Hijazi, a member of the San Francisco Human Rights Commission, said the individual went inside the mosque, smoked a cigarette, got into an altercation, and threatened congregants. Also written on the wall of the mosque was the message, "You will burn in hell," at a time when the mosque attendance is full due to Ramadan. Authorities in Indian-administered Kashmir barred Eid prayers at the historic Jamia Masjid and Eidgah in the capital city of Srinagar, where Eid prayers are traditionally and historically offered. The mosque's gates were locked, with Chief Preacher Mirwais Umar Farooq being kept under house arrest. Authorities informed the House of Worship's Management Committee that congregational prayers would not be permitted. This was due to their concerns over potential unrest in the downtown Srinagar area. The ban by the government of Narendra Modi follows a pattern of restrictions imposed, citing fears of public gatherings turning into anti-India protests. The move has sparked criticism and raised questions about religious freedom in the Indian-occupied Kashmir. In Afghanistan, Eid al-Fitr celebrations were marked by tight security measures nationwide as people gathered for prayers amid concerns of potential attacks. Significant turnout was observed, especially in prominent places such as the capital Kabul, as well as Herat and Kandahar, with mosques serving as focal points for the Eid prayers. At the Abdul Rahman Mosque in central Kabul, approximately 700 worshippers gathered for the Eid prayer. Imams and preachers emphasized the importance of unity and solidarity amongst Muslims. They also extended wishes for peace and prosperity in the country, while also expressing solidarity with the people of Palestine. Heightened security measures were implemented across mosques and city centers by the Taliban administration amid fears of attacks by ISIS. Strict body searches were conducted at many mosques before allowing entry, and GSM operators temporarily suspended operations in Kabul and other provinces as a precautionary measure. Rescue, evacuation, and water drain operations continue in flooded areas in Kazakhstan. More than 96,000 people have been evacuated, and access to around 50 villages has been cut off due to a spring flood prompted by melting snow, according to a statement by the Kazakh Emergency Situations Ministry. Thousands of people have been placed in temporary accommodation centers. After a winter marked by heavy snowfall, Kazakhstan is facing the challenge of swiftly melting snow. Thousands of residences in the 10 states have experienced flooding. The country's transportation infrastructure, particularly roads and bridges, have suffered extensive damage. Criticizing regional governors for lack of proper anti-flood activities, President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev says the peak of the current flood has not passed yet, so it is necessary to make maximum use of all forces and means. A recent report reveals that worldwide countries are projected to generate 220 million tons of plastic waste in 2024, with over a third of it ending up in nature. Despite upcoming talks for a global treaty in the Canadian capital, Ottawa, to address plastic pollution, efforts are lagging behind the rising production. The report highlights the failure of recycling and waste management to combat the crisis influenced by the fossil fuel industry. The United States and other major producers face criticism for their role in the issue, as public support grows a ban on single-use plastics. With nearly half the world already overwhelmed by waste management, urgent action is needed to avert ecological disaster. On average, each person globally contributes more than 60 pounds of plastic pollution per year. Previous research has shown that just 20 companies are responsible for more than half of the world's total single-use plastic waste. Cian Sutherland, co-founder of the Plastic Planet, said the new report underscores that plastic pollution has set humanity on the road to ecological and humanitarian disaster. Story number 14, closing. That's all from our Toronto studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Your support is needed more now than ever to continue our mission of providing informative, educational, and inspiring content to Muslims in North America and around the world. Donate now by calling 1-800-432-4262. You can also use the Zelle app for easy payments by sending to info@soundvision.com or visit muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.